Woods. I'm the lead coach here at Team Sourced and the director of the business division. And we are super excited about the upcoming release of Shift the Field, the audiobook. Are you someone who's interested in shifting the field in your industry?
We're really excited because one of the things we found with this work of Shift the Field is, by the way, I'm Darla, LeDoux, I'm the author and narrator of the upcoming audiobook. One of the things we're really excited about is people are taking this work into all different industries. This idea of being an energy first business, which we talk about at the beginning of the book, being the type of service provider that starts with energy as a foundation. And we talked about that in the last video.
Yes, if you didn't catch our last video, go back and watch that one and then come join us again.
Yes. And so they're, taking this conversation into different places. So for example, we work with graphic designers or branders or writers or writing coaches or
therapists.
Therapists. We have attorneys. We have various healthcare backgrounds, chiropractic, health coaching, nutritionists, that kind of thing. Who are bringing this idea of shifting the field into their industries. Like really saying, you think a lawyer, well, how could a lawyer be about energy? But, we have everything from a lawyer who's working in equity who's saying, hey, before we can put processes in place for your equity stuff, you've got to do the inner work around your own relationship to this conversation. Or our client currently who is helping people with their mindset around the legal things they're doing rather than just the legal documents.
That's right.
So bringing this conversation into places where it might be a little edgy. And it takes some courage to do that.
Yeah, because it's not the mainstream, for those of us who are in this industry and we are speaking this language a lot amongst each other, it's maybe common to talk about energy and commitment and transformation and the possibilities and blind spots and all those things that we talk about, right? But if you're in a field where that's not the common language, to bring that in takes a level of courage and commitment. I have such mad respect for the people that are kind of front running or trailblazing that particular conversation. It's very powerful.
And even if it's you're a therapist and you're doing one-on-one sessions and you understand the importance of this conversation, being able to shift the way you're offering your services so you're offering a container. We talk a lot about containers over here, containers for transformation. The book teaches the anatomy of a transformation, which actually teaches you how to structure your offerings to support transformation rather than that individual session where they may or may not be committed to actually seeing the energy pattern that's in the way.
Yeah, I have a private client right now, and this is the transition they're making. Therapy for 15 plus years, a really thriving practice. And she can see the difference it would make for someone to make an upfront commitment to a longer process, right? And it's going against the conventions of an entire industry of therapists. Everybody kind of has that model. One session, they book when they book, they schedule when they schedule. You don't even ask someone, when are you going to come back, generally speaking. They just schedule when they want to, which has its benefits and works how it works.
Well, the thing that then comes up, we talk a lot. So in the anatomy, in the center of the process of transformation is this experience of receiving a truth. And I do it like this, right? There's something that's hidden that is actually ruling your life, but you can't see it. And when we can bring it into view, now we can work with it and it's not impacting us in the same way. Well, if you're booking one session, the moment the therapist goes like this, you're going to run away because there's a reason.
Because your whole life has been designed to avoid this.
Exactly. And so it's as soon as you get close, I would run away, right?
Yeah.
I love transformation, and I know if I'm on the edge of something new, if I'm not committed,
Yep.
I'm going to run away.
Yeah, which usually looks like getting too busy to go to your appointments, invalidating the therapist in some way, finding fault or criticism in a way that justifies not going, right? It's like all the normal things our cute little humanness would have us do to avoid seeing it. So having the structure support the process is a total game changer for people.
And knowing how to make it overt with your client.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're not going to totally understand transformation and what's happening. I know if you're watching this video, you're probably aware it's hard to explain transformation.
Yeah.
Like, unless you've been through it, it's hard to explain it. But when they know that they're committed to what's on the other side, and they're financially committed and contractually committed, right? Like, they're going to show up. And we might think, like, what does this have to do with something like graphic design, for example?
Yep.
So I'd love to talk a little bit about these done-for-you services and why this conversation is so important there, because it might seem like it doesn't fit. But so if you're in a one-to-one service like that, you're providing something creative, or maybe even, you know, you're a social media manager or, you know, copywriter or something like that. Bookkeeper. Yeah, we have a bookkeeper, accountant.
Yep.
And you're thinking, I'm just going to do this service for my client. And yet maybe it's a big deal for the client to have you do the service, right? Like to hire a bookkeeper and, you know, someone who's going to get in your money, or to hire a graphic designer or a brander who's going to help up-level your visibility, or social media, right? That's similar.
Right.
There's going to be some shift that happens in this human's life as a result of them hiring you. And if you're
whether they know it or not.
Whether they know it or not, or whether you know it or not. And so why not have that conversation and actually make that part of the way you work and what you charge for? So we have clients, like, we'll just stick with graphic design, where when they do this first and they're exploring with their client, when you get visible, when this new brand, like, what's that going to drive up? What is going to change for you? Guess what? In the way we work, we're going to deal with that.
All the reasons you haven't been getting more visible up until this point.
Exactly.
If those things weren't there, you'd probably already be doing it, or you wouldn't be hiring or needing their support in the same way.
Exactly.
So this stuff's going to come up.
Yeah.
I want you to know.
Yeah, and to talk about it, and to talk about it up front and charge for it and design for it, so that, just like with the therapist, with let's say it's graphic design, I just have worked with enough designers where, you know, you present the art and the person finds fault in it. Just like you were saying with like, I'm going to find fault in it, because if I really look and say, that's my soul on display visually, I might feel a little intimidated. I might end up going with the safe thing that doesn't really represent me, but maybe it feels more corporate-y, you know.
Might feel like the right thing. Yeah. It's very vulnerable. When you're working with someone at an energetic level, it's a very vulnerable process. So that's part of having a container and a structure that supports that holding through the process, which allows somebody to come through into the completion of it and into the integration of it in a really powerful way, in a way that they couldn't otherwise get there without that holding.
Yeah. And if it's not included, the person's going to go off on their own and have all these things come up and probably not tell you as the practitioner, the designer, writer, or whatever.
Right.
They're just going to decide, oh, I don't like this. Or
this isn't going well.
Yeah. And
this isn't working.
And they'll walk away, or they will say, okay, great, thank you. And they'll never use it. You know, so much beautiful design gets created that doesn't get used.
Yeah.
So much copy gets written that doesn't get used because we're not dealing with the humans involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not for everybody, but I'm guessing if you're here, your people are coming to you, we say, because you're magical, which is another conversation we have in the book, by the way. And And so they're sensing that you're able to help them with this. But if you're not structured to actually help them with this, it gets a little sticky.
And there's a chance that you're doing it anyways, but you're not doing it as effectively as you could be, or you're not being compensated for it in a way that really honors the fullness of what you're bringing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, your thoughts about this conversation. What's been your experience with this? Feel free to tag someone you know or share this video with someone that you know who is in one of these professions, who wants to actually shift the field, right? Because if this becomes a common conversation where we're dealing with our actual humanity in all of these various places, how does that really change the world? Grab a copy of the book and we'll see you soon.